Everyone. Today we are going to be live here in the hoop house, which it's really overcast outside. It's been raining all day long, and it was also raining last night, which is really cool in this hoop house. And allow me to explain a little bit. There's been some people that have been concerned with their dahlias because they don't like wet feet, and what wet feet does to a dahlia is turns the entire plant black. And it's crazy to say that, but if you don't have good drainage for your soil, like a lot of people up northeast is really hurting from this. If you don't have good drainage in your soil, you're gonna have rotted clones, dahlias, tubers, anything that goes along with dahlias. First of all, today, can you make $100 an hour with cut flowers at flower farming, any type of flower? And the answer is to your that question is yes. Just a short, simple answer, yes. But right now, we need to get some water. So that's what we're gonna do. I have a water station set up here in the back of the hoop house. And if you can't hear me, I apologize. It'll just be just a quick second. We have fans going. So let me get some water real quick. It's really nice to say that I have a double filtration. Oops, hold on just a second, sorry. Really nice to say that I have a double filtration system that's coming from the building for my water. So that's pretty cool. The only reason I have a pitcher here is just to show you how quick it is to fill up and what the volume really looks like. So I'm gonna find a wagon. Maybe I could just pull you guys around. But I really want to go through some stuff, so I just have a pitcher of water. I'm going to set it here for just a second. Hey, and if you haven't yet, make sure you get on Facebook. If you do have Facebook, we have a group called Profitable Flower Farming. And it's just somewhere that we're all posting. It's somewhere that I post quite a bit, just showing and explaining to people are the good, the bad, and the ugly. And today, that's what I also want to talk about with you guys. So let's just start with the ugly here. I mean, look at this. I've had to chop the tops of these right here on this far row. These are called Senior's Hope. So I'll show you what they look like in just a quick second. And if you like what you're seeing, leave a thumbs up because that helps support us. But anyways, they were really small. And by really small, they weren't going to amount to anything this year. So I had to go through and kind of chop them back. You can see them kind of starting up through there. They were really starting to turn yellow. I have had some problems with that. And the biggest problem I've had in here yet so far is that we think that we have some diseases. We're trying to work with the company that we had purchased these tubers from this past year just to make sure to clear things up. But I'm gonna leave it at that right now because that's all we need to know. Hey, leave in the comments below, what's the weather like in your area right now? Because that's what a lot of people are concerned with. What is everybody having to deal with? Is it hot drought? Is it lots of rain? Is it, who knows what it is? It still may be cold in your area if you're way north. So today I want to talk about a couple of things. It's possible for the $100 an hour, like I just said that. And yes, it's completely possible. But I have a couple of different pruners here. You're gonna think I'm crazy when I tell you this, but these are for hooves. They're goat shears, and you can pick these up for like $20 or something, maybe at your local feed supply store, but these are awesome. And so I want to put in comparison here for just a quick second. They have the straight edge so that they can get in there a little bit more fine to where you're needing to get if you're in a hoop house. But then I have these pruners here. These are the steel pruners, and I love these. These are my favorite. But today we're gonna see which ones do best when it comes to cutting. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to just kind of work down this aisle here, and I hope you guys kind of like the rough view because that's what we're going with today. Let's see here. And it's really windy. I don't know if I might be able to help that for just a second. Hold on. Well, that might help with the wind, right? Okay, so let's flip this around. My hair's all jacked up because of the wind. All right, look at these. Senior's Hope. Let's go ahead and pick these up real quick. And hopefully what's going to happen this year, or this season I should say, we did have a cooler that we were going to be using, and it was a refrigerated box truck. that plan didn't work out. It was going to cost us almost $10,000 a month to run that box truck. And that's not just what we have right now, being a small business operation, especially being a flower farm. Cutting these as low as possible. Let's see. I have to clean this up somehow, but this is the Senior's Hope here. I'm gonna have to turn the camera around so I can see it as well, but they're very beautiful. A lot of people were wanting this. This was on trend with Ball Horticulture this year, and so it's one of them that we picked up. Let's see. Okay, so I was just going to talk about this just for a quick second. You can see that. It's really pretty. Like I said, Senior's Hope. Do any of you have this on your farm? Please let me know. I'd like to know. All right, so there is the Senior's Hope. Now this, if I was going to be selling it in a retail shop at this very moment, like in Charlotte, North Carolina area, just to give you an example, this stem right here is around probably 14 inches. That's going for $2.50 for one stem. And I didn't do anything to it. I would literally just drop it in a bucket, maybe bundle it for the processing. Oops, sorry. Maybe bundle it into processing. Man, it's 90 degrees in Denver. Well, let's look. It's only 72 degrees in the hoop house. It's really cold out today. I think it's like in the 60s maybe. It's really dropped off. So $2.50 for this right here. I'm gonna see how long it really takes me to get from this T-post here to the second T-post down there and see how many we could pick in that amount of time. We have 6 minutes, 45 seconds. I'm just gonna go and pick these real quick, and then we can talk about what I'm doing. Stripping them down. Notice that I'm putting them directly in water. Even though it's not hot outside, I am still putting them directly in water. That's what a lot of florists like, and that's one of those pro tips. You can tell them, hey, we cut our dahlias or flowers, whatever they are, we cut them first thing in the morning, last thing at night, or maybe on an overcast day like it is today, but we also put them directly in water. They don't like dry packs, and if they can get away from that and have directly from the farmer, they're much happier. And especially if they go from, they talk about breaking the cold chain, and by breaking the cold chain is meaning, do they go from a cut to the bucket like water? Is there any antibacterial in there like sodium chloride, for instance? And then they'll also go into the cooler. So then they ask, was there any cold chain break in there? So, and you can say yes or no. Simple as that. These are really pretty too. These are the ball style, and they also hold up super well. Like if you were at a farmer's market or something, these are the ones, the style that you want. They hold up better than a lot of them in the heat. So those are something to look at. Cornell, that's what they're called, a Cornell. Most of the time I wouldn't backtrack to go back and forth, but I'm just talking about the flowers as I go. So that's, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's $2.50. That's $12.50 basically that I just cut. We've only been doing this for about 8.5 minutes. $12.50, 8.5 minutes. That's fairly good. I can go a lot faster than that if I wasn't running my mouth just as fast. Let's scoot this through here. We'll just get some flowers out real quick. I'm almost through this area. And notice a few things here. I don't know if you can see it, but this one's kind of tight. And a lot of people want them tight if you're selling them to a wholesaler. By a lot, let me clarify, that is a wholesaler. Florists like them a little more open because they want to be able to use them in their bouquets. And then at farmer's market, you kind of want them almost all the way open because you're selling directly to the consumer. And the consumer wants something that's open, usable, so they're able to go stick it on their table. I had a lot of people tell me at the farmer's market, because they would be buying on the weekends, and most of them were retired people. They would say they were using it for a lunch meal or a dinner meal that they were taking to a friend's house or something. So I didn't really see that until I started in the flower market. You know, I really didn't see that. But is there any questions that you guys have while I'm cutting these? And hopefully I don't miss them. And if I do, please send them to my email, wendybrookridge@gmail.com. And I'm actually linking that in the description below, so make sure you check that out. A couple of things. I want to try to get really close here for just a second to show you what I'm doing. Okay. Now you see the dahlias here, And I can go a lot more in depth in this in some of my other videos. But let's look at this one, for instance, that's budding. That's called the king bud right there that you see coming out. And then on the sides there, you can actually see that it's broken. I break those side shoots as they come up. And then you can also see right beside of it, there is a couple blooms coming out. Those are side shoots. So picking those out right there, if I can get them. It's kind of hard with one hand on the camera. Okay, I got it. So picking those out, and you have to go through and get them. I'm not saying you necessarily have to do this. I hope I'm not trying to break it as I'm talking to you guys. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was a lot of hard work from my wife and I and family members. I can't even get my fingers in there. Okay, there we go. I broke it out of there. And the reason I'm showing you this is because the wholesalers, they really like this. They like the look of that, and they don't want those side shoots in there. And then also it gives you a bigger bloom. So why would you not do that? Yes, it does take a lot more time. 1,500 dahlias last year took about 90 hours a month. So that's something to take in consideration when you're doing this. But another thing I wanted to show you. So when you cut the dahlias, you want to cut them low. You see where I cut this one at? Well, if you cut them low like that, they're not going to grow up to be massive 6 foot, 7 foot plants. And they may do that because of the variety. Yes, removing the suckers. That's what you got to do. You got to keep that king bud going. So then if you cut down here low, you're always expecting multipliers. So you'd have 2 new side shoots that come out, which these need to be disbudded already. That's what they would call that, the terminology to that. So you can kind of look through here and see what I'm talking about. Look, there's another cut. Down low, and then also 2 new side shoots coming out. Anyways, look. I'm just inspecting here, and that looks like a little bit of powdery mildew, which we can spray for. That's another thing you need to be looking for. So anyways, I can talk a little bit more of how I have everything laid out as far as my strings, and nothing's perfect in here. And I'm not going to say it is, because it was very stressful getting it together, but it does the job. It does. It's just about figuring out how close your strings need to be, like spaced apart, and then how high they need to be spaced apart, and your T-post. Anyways, let's get back to what I was saying. So, one last thing. Always, when you're coming down through here, you always need to make sure that you keep your stems in order, because if you start seeing them poke out, the problems and tendencies that you're going to have is a curved stem, and a curved stem doesn't sell. And if it does, it's not going to sell well. So that's one thing to take in consideration. So let's get back at this for a minute. And if you're just now hopping on here, these are called Cornell, the ones that I'm cutting right now. I'm going to use these steel pruners to see how they do. Strip the leaves down. See, something like that would be a little bit harder to sell because of the curve, but they may take it if I have it in a pack of 5 and put rubber bands on it. I was just dropping that into the bucket that I have down there, and I'm just cutting. Okay, so that steel pruners, they're doing all right. They're really good. So I just cut 3 more. This is called Arabian Nights. That one's really pretty. It's a very high quality and a good seller. You can kind of see that it's past its point. When it starts to curl back on the back side like that, that's when it's almost past its prime to be able to be selling at a florist. They don't like that. They like them a little bit tighter, like this one here. And this is a ball style, so this is going to be different. This is a decorative style. So anyways, Jennifer, I'm glad to see you on here. Glad you were able to make it. But anyways, this is more of a the ball style, but you can see how this one's flatter. But maybe I can get a little bit more information on that for you guys. But Arabian Night and Cornell, so let's put those in there. That's $2.50 each if you're talking about the $100 an hour thing and trying to compare to it. Maybe it's not $100 an hour, you know, all the time, but if you could pick $3,000 a week, that's pretty good. Now we're going to switch off. And the people that are new here coming in, what I was saying is I have these pruners here that are steel pruners, but then also I'm trying something a little bit different, and I'm using goat hoof trimmers to see which ones do a little bit better here in the greenhouse. And I really feel like it's going to be these right here. they have better recoil, and they're much sharper. So we'll see. Jennifer, you said it's 106 there. It's like 66 in here. It's pretty chilly, to say the least. But we're starting to see blooms, and hopefully in the next 2 weeks, here's the thing, hopefully in the next 2 weeks, let's do a little circle here. If you hear that clacking, that's my tripod there. Okay, we have about 40 foot on this side of dahlias, circle around here 180, and about the same here. So we have 80 foot growing of dahlias, and the goal is to try to hit around $1,200 a week. Right now, we're not able to do that. You can see that, but we don't spend a lot of time in here either, right at this very moment. The only thing we're doing is watering and just budding and cutting. I'm switching pruners. I'm not using the ones that are pruners now. I'm using goat hoof trimmers. We'll see how they do. Cuts like butter. I always tuck my pruners underneath my arm when I'm stripping these things too. I know it's kind of weird if you see that. But let's see, let me keep going. All right, I'm gonna run down this real quick. Look at these. That's a Cornell bronze. And maybe I'm mixing this up, and you guys can help me with this. I always get mixed up on the Cornells because these are Cornells and these are Cornells. But this is a Cornell bronze, I believe. That's what they call that. One thing I wanted to talk about, here goes the clacking again. One thing I wanted to talk about is it's really easy to cut the flowers. It's really easy to buy all the product that you need to be able to even start a cut flower business. What's not really, it's really hard for me, like I'm juggling. We'll go over those in just a few minutes. What's not really easy about cut flower farming is actually selling this perishable item that perishes so quickly. That's the hardest part for me, and sadly, it's probably the most frustrating part for me. It is. It's the most frustrating part for me because you have something so quick to just up and die when it takes months to grow. I wanted to show you something real quick while I see it. And if it's loud, I apologize. But here, let's see. Maybe I can move this. It says block the view or something. Hold on, I apologize. Okay. Let's get down here. I guess you can see it. I'm gonna have to cut this out, and I already see why I'm gonna have to do it. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your blooms. And what you're seeing there is stem rot. And that stem rot is coming from too much moisture. All right. So, I'm gonna start down here now. Hey, and if you like what you're seeing, like I said, what supports the channel is just leaving a thumbs up and letting us know what you think about the hoop house. Look at this. I have this old dump truck. It's a dump truck, what do you call it? Mesh to keep the debris from flying out the dump truck. And it's just, I brought it in here. So let's cut these Senior's Hope real quick. These are a beautiful plant. So I still have the goat hoof trimmers. I'm still going with those right there. Let's see. Beautiful flowers. All right. Can't tell me those aren't beautiful. They're a little bit thinner. You know, they're a little bit smaller of a flower, but they're really pretty. I'm sure they're very delicate. So let's go down. Let's cut these. You know, I think I'm liking the goat hoof trimmers, and I actually picked these up from our local Tractor Supply. Maybe I can find them and try to leave that in the description as well. So what are you guys doing for a cooler? Let's ask that question. I did have an area that I was using for a cooler. I was using an old florist. They had a cooler that we were renting last year. We had the opportunity to get a farmer's market cooler here, which we didn't have as much inventory this year. So it's like, where do we spend our money at? Hey Nate, I'm glad you guys are doing good. Thanks, I appreciate it. It's looking a lot better in here. We need to send you some dahlias. And if you haven't yet, check out Nate, the Kramer Life. They have an awesome homestead as well. So hop on there and check them out as well. I'm glad you were on here, Nate. So anyways, let's see. What was I talking about? I was talking about the pruners. And then I was also talking about these flowers. Oh, the cooler. Okay, let's go back to the cooler situation. We had bought that truck and we almost spent like 30 grand on it or something like that to be able to use the cooler. Which I think now, today, you can see, let's see, right over there in that corner, I am going to, I'm going to put a little refrigerator over there. The one that is inside of our house, and I'm going to cut the top of it out where the freezer goes, and I'm going to put like a double stack in there. I'm going to put a double stack in there so I can actually put buckets of flowers, which is kind of going to be crazy, but whatever. It'll hold. It'll do the job, I believe. But okay, look. So I have 4 right here being $2.50. What is that? $10 right here in my hand. Like I said, it's easy to cut the flower. It's the hardest part and the frustrating part to sell the flower. But luckily I've had good success with that. And hopefully there's a guy that wants to buy the entire crop of everything that's in here. That would be really awesome if we can get that. It's almost been like this situation. Remember the good, the bad, the ugly. I've wanted to quit so many times because I wanted to be in the wholesale market and I wanted to do all these. I had to check the boxes and everything. Right now I'm just learning to be happy with the process. That's my heart spilled to you. These are looking great. And I like the edges on these pruners of the goat shears. All right, I just cut $10 more right here. Let's see. Look at these. They're beautiful. I didn't think they were going to be as pretty, but that's just me. But they are. They got some length on them, and that'd work anywhere. So we got those. I hope this isn't boring for you guys, just showing you around what's really going on. And let's see. See what's in the bucket. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Right there. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. All right, I've cut 24 stems even running my mouth. So that's, let's see. Let's see. 24 stems in 24 minutes. I guess that's pretty decent. If you're running your mouth too, that's $2.50 a piece. But look at these. I think this is if you guys know what this is, let me know, okay? Let me show you what it is. Thomas Edison, that's my guess. I grew some last year and I didn't order that, so it just came in. I did not order that. There's some really cool burgundies out here too. They're very jagged, and look at these. They're called a Joey Morella. I'm gonna cut these real quick. So last week, we've had some problems. You can kind of see if I move my butt out the way. All the way down there at the end, we had some problems with spider mites. And it was just something, I really didn't catch it. I was honestly being a little lazy too. But what I would like to say to that is, I caught it, we got it done. We've been spraying for it. We've been using like neem oil. We've used, we had to use some pesticides, which I really didn't want to, but it was a bad infestation, and those spider mites could jump all around here, and they're sucking, so they're blood sucking basically, and they would kill almost everything in here. So I had to do what I had to do sometimes. That's part of life, I guess. All right, look how long that stem is. Joey Morella. Pretty cool. Okay, let's see. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut this because I know I've been running my mouth for some time now. We're going to have a video come out this Friday, so be looking for that, and maybe another pop-up live. I'm not exactly sure, but be looking for it. I'll take some pictures and put that back into our post in the community section so you can see all the flowers as soon as we're finished with it, so you can see exactly what was the result of this picking. I appreciate all you guys watching, and I'll talk to you soon. If I know how to hit this button right, let's see. I can't even see because of my microphone. Okay.